What is up, everybody? We are back. Another episode of the Sutton Sanctuary Podcast. It is your host and co-host, Chase and Briley. Briley, you have not been on the podcast in a few weeks, maybe even a month.
Been a minute.
What you been up to? People said that they missed you. Yeah.
I know. Kelly stays missing me. Shout out to her.
Right. Yeah, we've been busy this weekend. Talk about it. I don't know if you guys are big into the comedy scene or not, but I think it's something that we've kind of, or at least I sort of started to dive more into, and you've kind of been. I think you enjoy it. Do you enjoy it? Do you like the comedy stuff?
Yeah, I like the comedy stuff. I don't feel like I went out of my way to watch it before you really got into it, but
Yeah.
we went to Shane Gillis this weekend. I feel like everyone pretty much likes him.
Not as many people know about Kill Tony. Whenever I bring that up to people,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Spencer, I ran into him in the gym yesterday, and I just asked him about the Greg Oden event they had on Friday. And I brought up that we went to Kill Tony Friday. I was like, I was bummed, we couldn't make it. We were in Nashville. And I was like, I don't know if you watch comedy. He was like, oh, a little bit. I was like, I don't know if you know who Tony Hinchcliffe is. And he was like, no. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, he's got a show called Kill Tony. And he was like, yeah, I don't know what that is.
That's not that surprising. I mean, no offense or anything, but just the demographic of the most people that were there, it wasn't, not that we stood out, but I feel like it's just a different vibe.
I don't know that, it's not like a nerdy crowd, but it's not like, you know, if you go to a basketball game, you've got a genre of people typically walking on. And I don't mean like black and white. I mean,
like your interests, people with
yeah,
different interests and things like that.
yeah,
It's
personalities
almost
different.
like the jocks and nerds, but that's not the demographic.
Yeah,
Those are the categories.
right.
I don't know what they are.
But there are categories.
It is, I don't vulgar isn't the word that I want to use, but it is very much like,
It's kind of like whenever you walk into a comedy show, it's like, okay, everything's on the table.
right.
Everyone, every person smells like weed. The whole place will just smell like weed. Every comedy show we've been to so far is kind of like that. You just know that the place is going to smell like weed.
Do you think that's just a comedy thing, or do you think it's becoming more legalized and more normalized?
Well, I don't know because we just started doing the comedy
know.
in the last couple of months. We started going to actual shows. All the ones we've been to have been like that, where a lot of people smell like weed.
We haven't really been to, the last concert we went to was Jelly Roll, and obviously a
Yeah.
bunch of people smell like weed there too, but
Yeah, we went to the Tucker Carlson event in Michigan, so everywhere smelled like weed in Grand Rapids. Walking through the city.
actually being at Tucker Carlson and smelling it
Yeah,
that.
it didn't smell like weed like in the event. I mean the city of Grand
streets.
Rapids smelled
The
like
streets,
weed.
the hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of, you could tell Michigan's been blazing it up for a while. It was like you seemed out of place, you didn't walk in smelling like a joint, some of those places. Yeah, so I don't know. It is it's a different demographic of people.
It was a different demographic at Shane Gillis. You know what I mean? Sure, some people, it was some of that demographic, but I feel like a lot of people we knew were there at Shane Gillis as well. And just the people that we sat next to, they were a different vibe.
The ones to the right of us?
I didn't pay attention to the people on the left of us.
The guys on the left were more probably closer to our genre of style. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, and
I feel like we can acclimate and pretty much any scenario.
I found myself being a part of a lot of social groups over the years. I never felt entitled to any of them. Like we talked about before, even back playing sports and stuff. Outside of playing sports, I didn't hang out with people that played sports. Outside of school, I hung out with people that did not play sports. Had no interest in playing sports. I think that's what I liked about it. I didn't have to be around that. I like all kinds of people. I feel like I'm friends with all sorts of different styles of people. But yeah, there is something about it. The comedy shows, it seems like whenever you walk in, it's kind of like a Wild West type of feel. Like someone might say something crazy to you, and you just have to know that's part of it. And listening to Big J Okerson opened up for Shane. And if you don't know Big J, if you've never listened to him before, you probably had a similar expression to the one that Briley had on her face for most of his set.
It was very vulgar, and I'm not really one to shy away from vulgarity, I don't think. I just
he says vulgar shit regarding his kids. And
Yeah.
that's where people get like free and not okay, not like
I wasn't even like, I wouldn't say I was like freaked out or,
not
oh
like a
no.
pedophile way,
No, I
but
just
like
didn't think it was that funny. But
yeah, there's a dark side of comedy he kind of taps into.
I wouldn't say that I hated it, but I thought the first guy was funny.
He was really funny. It's kind of what's it, Corky?
Quirky.
Corky? Is that the
Like
word? How do you pronounce that?
quirky. Is that how you're saying it?
Oh, I was saying Corky.
No, it's QUI, I think.
Yeah. And yeah, he was just like, I don't know, one of them guys that are just like kind of goofy.
Yeah.
He didn't like have to even say the like funniest shit for you to laugh, whenever
Right.
he was talking. Like he was like one of those guys you probably just like talk to and it's like,
You're weird.
yeah, you
But
just
yeah.
enjoy talking, being around him. Like you just like you hear him say a couple of lines or jokes and you're just smiling. You're like, this motherfucker. He had that vibe to him. And it was even a whole different demographic from Kill Tony to Shane Gillis, like you said. It seems like a lot of people that go to Shane Gillis are what you would call mainstream, like comedy people. They see the clips.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like Nate Bargatze coming to Evansville, like that's like very clean comedy and like
He's probably the hottest comic in the game right now, actually.
really.
Yeah.
Well, I just feel like that's very like gotta be a classy event. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's more like a family.
yeah. I just feel like it's gonna be even different than Shane Gillis.
Sure.
You got like Tony, then you got
Well, Shane relates to
and
like the frat guy. Shane's a total like frat dude.
autism. He like holds the mic. He can really tap into a disability. Very smooth transition.
He's got bits for his uncle or whatever has Down syndrome, I think. And he has like the whole bit. It almost got me. He's like, it nicked me. A lot of the Shane Gillis supporters are more like I said, they see the clips. They probably actually never watched any of his old specials or any of that stuff. They just see the clips, which is fine. Enjoy it how you. My point with that is like the Kill Tony crowd is more like real comedy fans.
Kill Tony isn't really like he's not getting up there and like telling jokes, for the whole time. There are jokes incorporated, but a whole episode could bomb.
If you're unfamiliar with Kill Tony, it is Tony Hinchcliffe runs it. He's a comedian out of Austin, Texas, and it's basically like an audition for comedians. And on the panel with him, he'll have like 2 to 3 other big high name comedians with him. We won't announce who was on the panel the first night because he said not to, remember? Because it won't be out for like 2 weeks. So he has
someone,
it's
most likely going to know who was on the panel.
Yeah, people like Joe Rogan, people like Shane Gillis, like those types of names are who are on the panel. And then he's got a bucket. People go and they sign up to be on the show. And your name gets put into a bucket with like 200 other people. And then Tony draws names randomly out of the bucket. If your name gets called, you go up and you get 1 minute to do comedy. Your best jokes, 1 minute. And I think the best part about it is the panels. You obviously want to hear Tony up there hitting one-liners all night. That dude just stays on fire and he's going to say some off-the-wall shit. And like him calling out that fat lady in the front row and them going in on her. It's just free game. It's not for like soft people. But it's cool that you're not listening to him just podcast, but you're not listening to him just do comedy. You're getting like a mixture of like human and comedian. So you're kind of getting like a little 2-for-1 as far as that goes. And then the people that come on, it's no mercy. You
get the minute of telling your jokes uninterrupted. And then after that, he does an interview process. The interview process is pretty lengthy, like usually 10, 15, sometimes longer interview. So even if like your set isn't great, you still like he can still he like gives out pointers or tries to help you. And if it is good, there's the secret show they get invited on, or they'll invite them to come back another week. He kind of takes them under his wing.
Well, all of their regulars. So the show has regulars that perform every week. There's like 4 or 5 of them probably. And they were all bucket names. Got drawn from the bucket and killed. And pretty much Tony just kept them around after that. So yeah, that's more of like, like your real comedy fans or people that are watching it more than just the clips that you see on Facebook. So yeah, it is 2 different demographics. And one of the best jokes I thought was funny whenever we were in Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indy. I think it was Big J, I think, made the comment. He was like, man, this is the most amount of white people that's ever been in this building. This is the least amount of black people that's ever been in this building. Yeah, that's what he said. So yeah, that was a good time. A couple comedy shows, some good food. Those 2 guys in front of us, I didn't realize until recently, and for those of you that are like sober now or don't drink, you can probably like relate to this, but to go out into like some of these public places and to be sober from alcohol and then see everyone else hammered.
Nashville was very, very noticeable. I mean, Nashville was a little tough to watch. Seeing people stumbling down the street. I mean, it's 6 p.m. and people were
Right.
bet.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've said this a million times, I'm about tired of saying it, but it's obviously never to like attacking anyone.
No.
It's just like it's
Like,
bizarre.
you just know they're still hurting from that night.
Yeah, and you just don't realize it whenever you're one of the people drinking too. Like,
Mm.
I think I made the comment. It was like walking through there, it looked like people were just zombies. Like you look them in the eyes, and there was like nothing there. Just go, and I was like, whoa.
That
Like
was you a lot.
I was like, I never realized like how noticeable it is whenever you're just drunk. For a long time, you go like so long thinking that it's not that noticeable or that people can't pick up on it, but it's like no one's home. All these people. And there's a little part of me that it kind of like makes you anxious. You're like, whoa, like you don't know what the hell could happen right now. It's
Mm.
totally unpredictable. It's
Right,
kind of
'cause you think that
freaky.
you're in control, but you're really not. I feel like drinking has that effect on people. Like, I would always think that even when I was drunk, I still knew what was going on around me. But in hindsight, not
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. It just to see a mass group of people, and there's very few other people that you see that are probably not drinking in these events. To see the amount of people that were just so out of it, like
Before the show started.
didn't even know where they were at, or was that in Nashville? Those two guys.
That was Nashville.
That was
Friday
Nashville.
night.
Yeah, there was two couples sitting in front of us, and it was
Mhm.
like girlfriend and then boyfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend.
Right.
Well, the
And they
two,
took, well, they, for pre-tech, like, they took your, like, they made you put your phones and watches in a bag. You couldn't text people or anything like that while you
yeah,
were
you couldn't
in
be on your
there.
phone the whole time on the show
But
while you were in the building.
But yeah, so there was these two couples in front of us, and it was just the girls there. It was the three of them, like one couple and this other girl in front of us. She was already annoyed. She was with this guy that was in, like, he had on this like Tennessee shirt, very noticeable, not blending in at all,
Yeah,
and
have you ever
like the
the neon
brightest
orange
orange
shirt,
shirt.
and he was just a goofball looking type of guy. Like you just saw
Uh,
him, and you were like, "That's
this
him."
guy, yeah, this guy was up to some shit every week, and you already know he
Yeah,
was
well,
problematic.
yeah,
So they can't find him. It's not like they can just text him and be like, get up here. He's wandering down on the floor. And like at first he didn't really know what he was doing, but or people watching hardcore. He's wandering down on the floor.
I will have to say, Gamebridge. If this was at Gamebridge in Indy, I could understand.
Yeah.
Locating your way to your seats
Oh
at
my
that
God.
stadium is bizarre.
Yeah.
We were at Nashville at
No arena.
not near as big as Gamebridge.
So many people helping out, finding your seat.
Yeah, there was nobody helping.
We were sober and couldn't find our seats. Imagine being
Right.
drunk.
Couldn't imagine. Part of me wanted to walk out and just leave. I was
I
like,
was-
wow. All our seats, and there was only one because people had scooted
Yeah,
down. And I was
and
like, but
that
I
threw
don't
me
think there's
off.
two there. Yeah, back to Nashville.
So this guy's wandering around on the floor. This lady sitting in front of us leans over to the other guy and was like telling him that she was like, he has no idea where we're at. He's just wandering around. The show hasn't started yet. So this guy goes up and gets him, brings him back. He's got two mixed drinks in his hands. He hands that one mixed drink to that guy, and then he takes it and he was like, oh, well, now I've got to go to the bathroom. So he leaves again. And it's like, I don't even know how long it is. But once again, he is wandering around on the floor
He
again.
disappears. Like, he's like, yeah, I got to go to the bathroom, disappears. At this point, we were both kind of
We both
like
knew he was
watching.
hammered, but yeah,
And
we were
both
invested.
kind of like wondering, like, when's he going to come back?
Yeah.
Like, because he's on some shit. And he already got down on the floor once, and I was like, okay, that probably sobered him up just a little bit and was like, oh, fuck, like I was way off. This next time, I'm going to get back to my seat.
Right.
5 minutes, 10 minutes goes by, but he's
So-
not coming back.
She's mad. This girl, she's not even that mad yet, but she's just like
She's starting to shake the head a little bit. The eyes are rolling a little higher
she's
every
talking
time.
shit on him to this couple, and they're not really their problem at this point. Like you can just tell that he does this a lot, and they don't really care. They're probably used to hearing her complain about it. He comes back. He only sat down for like what,
He got down on the floor again.
And
He got down on the floor every time he left.
He did.
He never left and made it straight back.
And she's thinking that he's lost at first, and we're thinking he's lost. Somehow Buddy has found a seat on the floor.
Well, he walked right to it.
Yeah. He's intentionally going down there for better seats. She's getting mad. She's like, he's not coming back up here. So this other guy goes down, gets him again.
He sits down there for like 20 minutes and sitting during the show.
She's
It's hot.
Yeah. She knows he's down there.
And she's watching him. You can see him. And he's down there throwing his hands up and he's cheering at everyone that comes on. She's not even his girlfriend. He's forgotten completely at that point that he even had a girlfriend.
Maybe a wife, because I think I saw a wedding ring on her hand. Regardless, she's like, at the beginning of the show, you could tell she was kind of excited for it and geared up a little bit with him, but he hasn't derailed her yet. At this point, she's done. She doesn't give a shit about the show. Tony's like, are we all having a good time? She's shaking her head no. Like, she's big mad. He comes back up for a hot minute. They do the Pledge of Allegiance, which I did think was kind of weird. That one caught me off guard. I thought it was like a ball game. National anthem. Yeah, that's right. He's lost. He's confused. He's never heard of the national anthem, I don't think. My God. He's like hooping and hollering. She's like telling him to calm down. He gets aggressive with her and he was like yelling at her, telling her that she needs to calm down. And then that's when he disappears for about 20 minutes. She's not having a good time anymore. And then the other guy disappears as well, tries to wrangle him in.
He goes to find him.
They never come back through the entire show. The girls leave at one point and then they come back by themselves. The girl that's been mad this entire time, the other girl's mad now too, because at first it wasn't her problem, but now it is her problem because her man's gone too. So now they're both pissed. And she's like, you might as well come sit down here. They're not coming back. And she was like, if he doesn't come back, I swear to God. And they never came back.
And the show continued on for another hour and a half, and these guys never came back. And then the last 10 to 15 minutes before the show was over, the two girls just got up and dipped.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they ended up leaving them, never ended up finding them. But it's just like, man, I'd probably sat there and watch two relationships get ruined. Well, I mean, who knows?
That very unhealthy.
All because of alcohol. And they just had no idea that he couldn't figure out why she was so upset. So then he was getting mad that she was mad.
Yeah. When she he was belligerent, like you could see that he was belligerent. And she just was not, she's yelling at him like it's going to do any good. When you're that far gone.
30 minutes that he sat down, he was leaned over talking to them.
She's just chirping in his ear the entire time. She's pissed.
I think even the people to the left of us were starting to watch him because every time I would kind of look down whenever they would get up and leave, and they were all checking it out too.
Yeah. At first I thought for a second they all came together. I don't think they did because that whole row was invested in him. She's telling them, they're like, where'd he go now? And she's like, he's down there. I can see exactly where he's. They couldn't believe it. But yeah, none of them left when they left. So I just think they were innocent bystanders that got roped into taking care of this man as well.
Yeah. A good time.
Saturday night was less dramatic.
Much less chill in Indy.
No one was talking the whole time. There's so much talking Friday night.
Trying to think of anything crazy.
Spend that money to go and talk to strangers about all your bills. At one point, they were talking about moving their boyfriends and girlfriends in, just not because of a future together, but just cut back on bills. It's just logical to.
Right. So, what's the new mindset? All these kids they're finding the hacks to life and they're figuring it out. Although that's probably one good piece of marriage advice. Yeah.
With the bills?
No, find a partner that makes decent money.
Oh.
Well, that's what, look, I'm just saying, I was listening to this podcast, the guy was talking about one of the biggest financial hacks of your life is getting married. He's like, marry someone that, makes good money too. Anyway.
Well, I wish I didn't know that too.
Back to helping people out or people out of control. A local man in Evansville beat nearly to death in Chaser's Bar and Grill.
I feel like no matter what the name's ever been, when it was Pistons, it was a problem. When it's Chasers, it's a problem. I don't know if it's the same owner or what, but I just feel like that specific physical location, there's always been the place to have a fight.
Yeah, I didn't ever do a lot of running around down there around any of those bars. But yeah, it seemed like you'd always hear some sort of altercation, and there's been lots of apparently trouble in the past with these security guys
Mm.
of that specific bar. There's also like rumors going around like the amount of cocaine that flows through that place.
Really.
I thought I'd heard a story regarding a cocaine ring that had flowed through that business or one of them bars down through there. So I know that was, because there's people talking about, they should get drug tested and blah, blah, blah. If you haven't seen it, I was gonna try to throw this video up, but my screen share is not popping up here. I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen the video.
It is actually recording, right?
Yes.
Okay. It just looks
And
different from last time.
we're using the new software on this episode. This is not the normal software that I'm used to using. Hopefully it's going to be the one that we use every time now. So anyway, the story being this man is at the bar.
We don't really know exactly what has happened yet.
Everything that I've read, and this is just a story that I've gathered, is that this guy was cashing out at the bar,
Closing his tab.
and he noticed on his tab that there were drinks on it that were not his, that he did not order. So he brings this to the attention of the bartender. He had drinks on his tabs that he didn't order. So he brings this up, says,
I'll pay for what I got, but I'm not paying for the extras that aren't mine.
and some time in the middle of that happening, he yells at the bartender, raises his voice, maybe even like kind of steps towards her. There was a report from the Evansville police chief that said he didn't hit her, never laid hands on her. So in the midst of him apparently raising his voice about these drinks being on his tab that were not his, these bouncers jump in. This guy couldn't have been
Oh my God.
5'8", 5'10", something, maybe like 160, 175.
Really?
Well, okay, maybe like 180. I bet he wasn't over 200 pounds.
Mm.
I could be wrong, but
Right.
he's not a very big guy. I'm not a very big guy. He was smaller than me. And these two bouncers are every bit of
That one guy was
6'4",
huge.
275.
What did the police report say? Yeah, that one guy was. Ooh.
One of these bouncers was 41.
Yeah, that's the one that taught jujitsu.
He's 41.
He was the smaller of the two as well. That other guy was was he in his 20s?
He was 29.
29, yeah.
And he was 6'5", 270.
Okay.
He was a monster.
So, yeah, the one was 29, the other one was 41. It's not giving their height and weight, though.
So these two guys are huge, way too big to be hitting people like this. That wasn't fighting back.
I mean, he literally never raised, in the videos that I saw, never once tried to fight back. He went limp.
Because they knocked him out.
Right. He was sitting at a table. They hit him and then drug him out.
And they had him on the ground at one point, kicking and stomping him. The one guy raises the dude up, and he's just completely limp. The dude smacks him again on the ground. They pick him up, hits him again, then drag him outside, and then continue to beat him.
Allegedly, yeah. Continued to beat the shit out of him in the parking lot.
He ends up with 6 broken bones in his face.
Yeah, his mandible, his jaw was broke. Eyes were more than swollen shut. I mean, 6 broken ribs.
This is from Chief Philip Smith of the Evansville Police Department. After he calls the altercation unreasonable, brutal, and illegal, said the responsibility of law enforcement is to be the line between order and chaos, the force that is willing to stand up to those that would do harm and victimize others and hold them accountable. The men and women of the Evansville PD do just that on a daily basis. The events at the local bar and grill this past weekend have made their way around social media. The business has received harsh criticism based off the actions of a couple individuals in their employ. To the owner's credit, they have been cooperative throughout this entire process. There was an off-duty officer working for the business. He was requested outside of the business to address an issue unrelated to the event. During this time, the victim had a dispute with a bartender, and according to witnesses and surveillance, he appeared to have lunged at the bartender. The bouncers intervened by taking the victim to the ground. Their actions were justified. From that point beyond, the actions of the bouncers were unreasonable, brutal, and illegal, in my opinion. They went far beyond what someone in charge of the safety of patrons should be doing to keep order in an establishment.
The video is a little confusing because, like I said, he's not up at the bar where the video starts. He has moved away from the bar and is sitting at an empty table at this point. And they come in and drag him off of that.
Yeah, the video, that's what they said they were having issues with too. There was already some of the bar security footage that had been erased or wasn't there or wasn't showing the full picture of what had happened. But the videos that I saw was where they had him basically on the ground up there against the wall.
Yes, she could have been recording after the fact.
And that's whenever the guy was basically limp and the dude picked him up that last time and the guy smacked him again. And then they both drug him out as they were hitting him the whole time they were dragging him out the door.
That one fell and continued to beat the shit out of him while he was on the ground with him.
Yeah, he was on the ground beside him and was still swinging and hitting
him.
At some point, I'm thinking there's got to be some cocaine or something involved. I just can't imagine being in your sober mind. This guy is just completely... I mean, the pictures... I'm going to work on this. I wish I could throw them up. I may be able to throw up a couple of these pictures of him after. This is all public stuff that you can find, but it is brutal. And at no point in your mind, you were never like...
They could have easily killed him. I mean, like if he would have any sort of medical condition or any blood thinners, medications, anything like that, like he could easily be dead right now.
Oh yeah, or just from the blunt force trauma.
Right.
Once you're like a certain size of a human being, you have to understand that like you could fucking hurt somebody.
Like mice and men, you got Lenny with the mice out there. My God.
Right. This guy is a behemoth of a man. It's not like the guy he was fighting was aggressive, big, jacked, and intimidating, and like not that that makes any bit of a difference, but yeah, he was literally half.
It's just so far outside of their scope. Like a bartender, you just get them outside. That's all you have to do is get them off the premises. You don't beat the shit out of them inside of the bar. And the video with everyone just sitting at the tables acting like it's not happening, that's also crazy to me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. Who the fuck do you think you are? You're a bouncer at a shithole bar in Evansville, Indiana. You just put your hands on this guy and beat him within an inch of his life. And like, I'm sure they probably all just like right back to work afterwards too, you know, like.
Oh, I bet they were bragging about it.
Yeah, you know, they were all talking that shit about beating the shit out of this guy. Is it like, you really think you are somebody?
Well, this guy's dad, I don't know if it's true or not, but his dad went on Facebook Live and was talking about how he was temporarily handcuffed. I'm assuming whenever they had the clipped video that the police officer had seen, like after the situation, but denied medical attention. That guy had dried blood all over him. There's no way you couldn't take one look at him and think, he doesn't need medical attention. Even if he was being arrested, you don't deny medical attention to head injuries, a lack of training.
At what point does your job spill into you beating this guy within an inch of his life? It's bizarre
to work with that mindset.
Yeah, and I understand you're a bouncer, but like your job as a bouncer is like people cause a problem and you immediately get them outside. You toss them the fuck out.
Neutralize the threat. In a way, they did neutralize him, but
it's like, well, no, your job is to de-escalate.
Yeah.
And just like the job with any police officer or security, or you're some sort of
enforcer.
They are peacekeepers of that building or vicinity.
Right.
And your whole job is to maintain the atmosphere of everyone around you. And I feel like that is a little outside of de-escalation, I mean, to me, like I said, to me, it seems like a
Well, it just
just a
seems
drug-infused rage.
what else that you can't even. I mean, I might raise my voice too if I go to pay a tab and there's a bunch of shit on there that's not mine, and you're like telling me that I have to pay it. Like there are no other options. You're just saying that you can't, like,
Well, that's
you're just
what's
fucked. You just have to pay for whatever they decide to put on there. That seems a little suspicious.
right. And even if he lunged at her or stepped at her, like, whatever, even if he screamed whatever, the nastiest shit he could at
Right.
her,
You're in a
it
bar on
still,
Franklin downtown. You got to get some thicker skin than that.
it still does not warrant these two overgrown men to demolish this man in a public setting in the middle of a bar. I'm glad to see they've both been arrested.
One's been released already, but the main
One had a
hasn't.
$10,000 bond, and the other guy had like $2,000 bond or something.
Okay.
And I think one of them was released this morning. But yeah, I hope to see they catch some felony charges
And the guy had like 4 kids at home. Like you just about took out someone's dad for no good reason.
over a $60 bar tab, and someone raised their voice, and you damn near took his life. I don't know. I don't even know what eventually stopped them from beating him so bad once they got outside. It's crazy. It's a bar full of people, and there wasn't one group of dudes in there that was like, whoa, what the fuck?
There's one girl that got up and looked like she to say something, but
There wasn't
even
one
that
group of guys in there with some nuts on them that was
was already
like,
pretty dead in there, which was telling in itself.
yeah, and I bet no one goes back.
I wouldn't.
I would be terrified to go back.
Right.
That place can get fucked as far as I'm concerned, but I would be scared.
Right.
I'm not coming in here when you got killers on deck ready to just murk. Like, no, that sounds like an absolute. And like, thank God I'm not still drinking and going to places like that, because that could have been me easily.
Mhm.
Like, there's multiple nights I could think of where I'm thankful that something like that didn't happen. I didn't run into 2 guys like that ready to rock. Thank God.
Mm.
Just yeah, that's another thought I had too. That very easily could have been me in a million different situations. Hopefully that'll put a little perspective on people, and at least being intoxicated to that level or indulging at all in public. It's kind of scary. I'm glad I don't do it anymore, but yeah, between that and seeing people over the weekend, I'm like, God, so many people are just out of their minds all the time. It's kind of crazy.
Well, and like we talked about too, like how many there's so many concerts that I've been to in the past that I don't remember a single second of. And in hindsight, it's crazy to pay that amount of money, not just on the tickets, but the weekend in general. And you just don't remember any of it.
And $50 worth of booze completely wiped out your
That's
whole
being
$50 in booze can get most people pretty fucked up. So you're talking about spending almost $1,000 on a night by the time food and hotel, and if you stay for 2 nights and whatever, and then all it's gonna take is like $50 with alcohol, and you're like, don't remember none of it.
Mhm.
You know, that's the trade-off.
We got back to the Airbnb and ordered us $50 worth of, actually it was only 30, worth of Domino's. Watched the men's basketball game.
It's nice. And it's actually a quote from Peaky Blinders. It was whenever Arthur on the Peaky Blinders is trying to sober up in that show, and his wife, she's like a real Christian lady, and they were in the church one of those nights, and she made the comment to Arthur was like going through it, but he was like sober, and she was like, "Doesn't it feel good to still be yourself this time of the night?" I was like, "That's interesting."
Mhm.
Like, because before you know, whenever you're up, it's like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and you're like,
It was like 12:30, 1 o'clock. We were in the Airbnb, and I was like, fuck, I can't imagine if we would be out at a bar right now. Like, we would still have to be getting an Uber, getting home. You'd be starting to come out of your drunk phase. The hangover's already starting.
yeah, and it's just
Get drive home's hungover.
the drive home, the mornings after, I do not miss. I don't know the last time I woke up with a headache. I don't know the last time I woke up feeling nauseous, not wanting to eat, not wanting to get out of bed. So, yeah, that's definitely got to be one of the big upper sides of being sober is the next day. And then you don't realize how much more you can get done in a day whenever you're not spending 3/4 of your day just trying to make it to the kitchen.
Yeah, guys.
Get out of bed. It's like 2 days before you're even back to yourself. You
Yeah.
probably didn't eat for those 2 days, so
Mm.
you haven't drank any water. If you were like myself, you're probably still trying to go to the gym, and really you're just destroying yourself worse, trying to stay in the gym, not having food in your system, being dehydrated. Wild scenario. It'd be interesting to see what the 2 guys end up getting.
Oh, I think they'll throw the book at it.
It's on TMZ.
I saw that. I didn't know
It's
if it was real
probably
or
gonna
not.
go it's probably gonna go national. Well,
Yeah.
TMZ is pretty much
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll probably I would be surprised if that doesn't make national headlines, on some news station at
Yeah,
some
there's
point.
no way to get out from underneath this one.
You can't sacrifice your reputation as a city or a company over 2 guys. So, it's like
Yeah,
you've
poor
made
Ed.
this decision and, it's now you've made your bed and you lie in it. It's probably getting
Well,
real
for
lonely
the
for those 2 guys, and you're
chief
getting ready to
police
be
officer to make that statement so early on too, I feel like that was pretty huge.
a lot of times you don't see police chiefs immediately going to the public and taking the
Defending the
public
victim.
side.
Yeah.
Not that quick anyway. It's
No.
normally, like, we're gonna do our investigation,
been
aware
yeah.
of the accusation. No further comments.
I mean,
And then
they
we're
put out a statement.
the reason I think they got behind it so quick is because they said there was an off-duty police officer that
Mhm.
worked at the bar, but he was not there during the time of the altercation. He was outside and he got in on it later on.
They would
So I think it was very quick to make it known that, yes, there was PD on site because people were like, well, the police department. So it's very easy for the PD to get tagged into this and say, you're allowing people to do this.
Mhm.
You have to immediately get to the press and let it be known that it was
The
wrong.
The police officer wasn't actually involved.
He did cuff the guy,
Yeah.
but only because
False
it was only at the very
pretenses.
beginning whenever all he saw was guy getting dragged out of bar.
Yeah.
So he cuffs him, and then after apparently seeing footage is whenever he was like, okay, this isn't right, takes him out of cuffs. Then they finally getting the help, which is whatever in itself. So I think, yeah, him coming forward and hopping out on that immediately had to be to clarify that, one, he didn't know, he wasn't involved. And like, two, they said everything's on camera, there's no hiding, there's no running away from it.
Like, it's not always great that people can record everything. Like, some things get taken out of context, but in this situation, without that video recording,
The Williamson County PD department tased that dude, and
Yeah.
they released the footage of a
Yeah.
different angle. They thought it made their side look better, but to me,
Yeah.
it just confirmed everything that the woman in the first video had already showed. Regardless if that woman was psycho or not, did not justify the man getting tased by 5 cops while he was standing there with his hands up, literally saying, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And they're just hitting him with over and over and over while they just
Bleeding
broke in
everywhere.
his own door of his own place. Police brutality at its finest, if you ask me. And a lot of times it is for better or for worse, and you kind of have to, which, it's a good thing because, like I said, they'd already had the rumors that apparently there was clippings that the camera had already been cut, and that's one of those videos you can't work around. Honestly, I've never watched it all the way through because it makes my stomach hurt to even watch it. If you guys want to pull it up and look it up, feel free. I said it's on. I know TMZ just broke it. It's on 14 News. If you go to, I'm sure all of your Facebooks are probably, if you're watching around the area, are flooded with it. I'll share it on my Facebook too. If you can't find it, just go to my Facebook and it'll be there. I'll share it so you guys can check it out. It's a bizarre watch and something you should see if you go out to these places. It's something you should know can happen. And, again, they give these dickheads a little bit of authority and tell them that they're in charge of the place.
They get a homemade security T-shirt.
You got a black Hanes T-shirt from Walmart with security stamped on the back of it out of someone's house. And you get handed some $5 earpiece that was purchased down at Best Buy. And
Do they wear the earpieces?
oh, I don't know. I hope so. I mean, you have to be wearing an earpiece to do that kind of damage, I would think. I mean, you're security even with an earpiece in or nothing, and you still feel the need to inflict that kind of damage.
I don't know that they do.
Whew. You see the guy with the things in their ear, you're like, okay, if they're fucking someone up,
I feel like
it's probably a
that's usually bigger
terrorist or
cities,
something.
though, yeah.
But to see these two retards out here fucking just slamming this guy all over the ground, I wouldn't even realize they were security. And again, I'm not trying to play hero in hindsight, but I just feel like part of it would have been like, yo.
I mean, that man couldn't even put a belt on. His ass was out almost the whole footage. I just so locked into almost killing someone that you don't even know that your whole ass is on display.
Yeah, if you find yourself going to these places, especially around the southern Evansville area, southern Illinois, you go into those bars, you got to understand you're not dealing with high-class civilians a lot of the times.
It's very trashy atmosphere.
And, and that's what you're going to have. You're going to run into Bub and his cuz, and they've probably been drinking all night just like everyone else. I think you should at least watch it, and more people should watch our videos like that and get a little more in touch with reality and know that dice you're rolling, because, you don't expect, you go out one night and you don't expect it to be the bouncers of the place that, I've been tossed from places. I've been thrown out. I've been drugged by the shirt out the front door, but never have I seen bouncers, ever. I've probably have seen bouncers hit people, but that's an attack. You didn't try to hit the bouncer and he 1-2'd you one time and then drug you out the front door. Like, that's a malicious attack on what I would say a pretty innocent person for the most part.
Overall, I just don't think when people are already in a drunken state, escalating and yelling is never going to be the correct way to handle it. You're only going to amp them up even more.
I get that the establishment doesn't want to take, the establishment's been very cooperative, but it's like,
don't have a
you
choice.
employed these people. They represent you, whether you like it or not. You can't be like, oh, well.
Remember, it wasn't the first time, maybe not this bad, but it's not the first time that they've laid hands on people.
There's lots of stories going around where it's been known for their security to be sketchy and kind of rough.
Maybe not needing hospitalization and multiple
Right.
surgeries and things, but
Sure. And yeah, again, they work for you. Whenever you hired them, there should have been very specific guidelines set of how this works. You're not a cop. You don't have any actual authority.
If they gave them tasers and guns and shit, I mean, how terrifying would that be?
It's scary enough they give cops guns and tasers, let alone these morons. It's scary. Here's 8 weeks of training. Here's a gun and a badge. Go get them, Tiger. It's already terrifying anyway, but yeah, there's no way. Or, they're lucky. Yeah, imagine if these guys had some nightsticks on them or something. Is that what they're called? Nightsticks? I don't even know what they're called. Them black things that you see them in all the movies and they whoop them out and they
Billy Club.
Billy Club, whatever they get out there. I mean, imagine if, those guys just had a couple of those laying. It's just, ugh.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's why we're in bed by 9 p.m.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, by 9 p.m., if you are not laid up on the couch or in bed, you're pretty much putting yourself subject to getting your ass beat. So
my dad always, my curfew, even after I was 21 and I lived or 20, whatever, when I lived at home, my dad would always say, nothing good ever happens after midnight. And by God, he wasn't wrong.
It does able to get you to realize there's really.
I mean, I really was getting into some shit after midnight, leading up to it.
Yeah, there's just nothing good that could come being out late at night. But, all right, well, anything else from the weekend or anything coming up you'd like to share before we hop off here?
I don't think we have anything coming up. That was our excitement. We'll have to book something else.
Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing to the page. Helps us out a ton. We appreciate it. Make sure you guys are heading over to Hydrate 12 IV Therapy. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Get your IV scheduled. That warm weather is coming. You're going to be sweating more. You're going to be dehydrated. So make sure you get that IV scheduled. Briley will come over.
So much.
New episodes coming out weekly. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe so you aren't missing out on the videos. You can check out Facebook, Instagram to stay up to date there as well. We appreciate all the support. We will see you guys at the next one.